Ladies and gentlemen, lend me your ears and your eyes. Diva Divine Light, live from Brooklyn, New York.
No delaying in what you saying, yo. Said it with my 9 million with the dilly, yo. When I be on the mic, yes, I do my duty, yo. While I'm in the club, I be while in the studio. You don't wanna violate, nigga, really and truly, yo. My main thug, nigga named Julio, he moody, yo. I'm a nigga that'll slap me with the tulio. Bitch, nigga scared to death, act fruity, yo. Fuck that, look at shorty, she a little cutie, yo. The way you shake it, make me wanna get all in the booty, yo. With no delaying in what you saying, yo.
Diva Divine Light.
Really my heart to me. Fucking seats what you got for me. Put more than hands with my eyes to see. Still $1 in the place to be. If you really my heart to me. Fucking seats what you got for me. Put more than hands with my eyes to see. Still $1 in the place to be. If you.
You're watching Diva, the Divine Light. A fun-loving, caring, passionate person who talks about sex, celebrity, and real-life issues, and even abuse. So hit that like button and make sure you share the show.
Really my heart to me. Fucking seats what you got for me. Put more than hands with my eyes to see. Still $1 in the place to be. If you really my heart to me. Fucking seats what you got for me. Put more than hands with my eyes to see. Still $1 in the place to be. If you really my heart to me. Fucking seats what you got for me. Put more than hands with my eyes to see. Still $1 in the place to be. If you really my heart to me. Fucking seats what you got for me. Put more than hands with my eyes to see. Still $1 in the place to be. If you.
Here comes the pitch, and it comes in wide. On the ground ball.
Yo. Sorry about that, guys. How's everybody doing? It's Friday. Yo, what's up? Kayla, what's up, my love? ¿Cómo está, mi amor? Cat love, Cat, what's up, my baby girl? Aisha, what's up? My honey bunny, what's up, my honey? Rocking with the truth. What's up, lady? How are you, baby? Honey was the first one in the building. How's everybody? It's Fuckery Friday. We're gonna listen to some more Demetria Smith. Fuckery Friday. So I hope everybody's having a good afternoon, good evening, and good morning to some. I wanted to shout out to my homegirl, 100. Honey, thank you for sharing me out on Twitter, girl. Thank you. For those who share my content, let me see your transcript. Thank you so much for shouting me out all the time and showing me love all the time. Truth Strong Warrior, Grown Little Boy, OCOV family, Fat Boy, everybody that shares me out. I have been collecting some more subscribers. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it. And lots of love to all of you. And for those who shout me out at Miss Love, you already know, and my boy Rico, my boy Rico from the BX, yo. You guys got to go and check them out. His Lordship, that's my boy too. He's the one who did my intro, my outro. Shout out to all you guys. Shout out to OCOV family for always keeping it funky. and always wanting to bring out the truth. Okay. And shout out to the crew that's always in the bushes. I love y'all. I know you guys are in the bushes. I know you guys don't like to come out in the chat because, you know, people be snapping them chats and taking your comments and then talking shit about you and shit. So it's okay. I love you guys. Mwah. Dios la bendiga to everybody. All right. So, yeah, so we're going to get into some more Demetrius Smith. So, in the moment, I figured before we get into the reading, I wanted to share some content with you from another creator. Okay. And Demetrius Smith did a video. As you can see, the video link that I'm going to play now, please give the credit to the person's content. Please go over there, subscribe to their channel, like the video, make a comment in the comment section, if you will, okay? Every time I play somebody else's content, it's respect, you know, and credit is due, you know, so it's very appreciated that you guys go over and show them love as well, okay? Because anything that I do share is for research purposes, commentary, and, you know, teaching, learning, you know, so always, please remember, guys, to give those content creators love. Candy, what's up, my Candy? What's up, lady? My ladies are slowly walking up into the building. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. So let's start off with the video first. All right, we're gonna do that. Hold on. Give me a second while I prepare. Okay. So, this content creator is 93.1 WZAK. That's his channel. Okay, let's show the brother some love. He's got 404 subscribers. Let's get him some more subscribers, guys, because he did a great interview with Demetrius Smith. Okay, small little channel, but he's a radio station, and from Cleveland. He's a radio station out in Cleveland. Okay, so let's take a listen to this.
And the former manager.
Okay.
All right, Sam Show.
Guys, give me a thumbs up if you can hear it, okay?
Surviving R. Kelly. We've been talking about it
and if
since
it sounds good.
Friday. And the former manager, personal assistant, Demetrius Smith, is on the phone. What's up, Demetrius? How you doing?
Hey, Sam,
Candy,
how you doing,
Mexicana. What's up, Mexicana? I love you.
Good morning
Happy
to you,
Cinco de Mayo.
Oh, man. I'm going to mention this before we get started. Your book came out, The Man Behind the Man Behind the Man, Looking from the Inside Out, came out in 2011. So it didn't just come out now. So,
yes, sir.
So everybody knows. And what's the book is about you and Kels?
Well, you know, it's an autobiography.
Okay.
I spent 14 years with Kels, so that 14 years is in there.
How do you feel after watching Surviving with R. Kelly?
Yeah, you know,
Surviving R. Kelly. How do you feel?
That's a good question. How did I feel after I actually haven't watched it. I watched pieces of it, and I actually haven't. I watched pieces of it, you know, because I work so much, and I was trying to. I wanted to wait till it was all over to look at the comments from people, and I see them, and now it concerns me. But I've watched clips of it, and certain clips that I've watched, it's painful to me, man.
What's up, Cherie?
What's painful? Tell us exactly what's painful.
When you talk about surviving R. Kelly, you know, I'm surviving R. Kelly.
Yeah.
You see, I'm surviving R. Kelly, man.
He's surviving R. Kelly.
Surviving R. Kelly. Let us know.
Well, you know, as I say, I was with R. Kelly 5 years before, you know, his success.
pretty much trained R. Kelly. I sacrificed a career with R. Kelly. I was a singer, and I turned it over to R. Kelly. And my family supported me with this. Craig Hodges, who was my brother-in-law, financed us. And that was the beginning. That was the beginning of the deception. And I sacrificed a lot in there. From that deception, I still had fell for Robert. I still stayed in, and a lot of things right now I can't speak on. But you just asked me some questions. How I feel about it was painful.
What made you stop working with R. Kelly?
He stopped listening. He stopped listening to me, and he became powerful.
What were you telling him?
The demon that we see now, I see a demon. I seen the demon in the beginning, and I seen it developing. And I went to people and I told them about that, and they didn't listen. And
who did you go to?
Now
who were the people
you went to?
You went to the record company. What did you tell the record company?
I told Clive. Clive Caldwell, who was the owner of Jive Records. I talked to many people that were there. And not to say that I saw anything. I just saw something developing. I saw something that I was uneasy with. I saw a kid that had power, and he was going in the wrong direction with it. I knew Robert was illiterate, and I fell in love with Robert, and he stopped listening at that time, and he became powerful.
So powerful. I want to go back to what I saw on television. So you forged the paperwork for him to marry Aaliyah?
No, I didn't forge it. I took her to the places they told me to take her to get IDs. No, none. My signature isn't on anything. I didn't forge anything. And when they were taping that, they I was explaining, and sometimes I get fumbled with words, and they said, "You mean like forge the paperwork?" I said, yeah. I got that done. You see, actually say forged. I don't think I said those words out of my mouth.
But on TV, yeah, you got to watch it. I mean, I would have definitely watched it before they improved it. And so
yeah, they didn't show it to me.
So you knew he was dating Aaliyah. You knew this. You saw this, correct?
He wasn't dating. He was not dating Aaliyah.
Did he marry Aaliyah?
No, he was not. Yes, he did.
Okay, so he married Aaliyah. Aaliyah moms put out she put out a statement denouncing that the statements that were made on the series by the 14-year-old girl. What was her name, Kenya? What's her name? The backup singer. She was the backup singer, and she said that Rob. Who? Javante. That's it. That Javante said on the documentary series that she saw R. Kelly and Aaliyah have sex.
I couldn't vouch for that. I mean, I didn't see it.
Yeah. And so, right. And so her mother in that statement said that was a lie. She don't agree with the series, and said that Aaliyah was never alone, ever. That they was always there. Is that true?
I mean, no. I mean, Diane, she was with Aaliyah pretty much everywhere. Everywhere we went, they were together. Diane wasn't there, Mike was there. Mike wasn't there, and Diane wasn't there. Rashad was with us. We went everywhere together. Now, no, not all the time, because see, Robert is a workaholic, and Robert stayed busy, meaning that once he come to the studio, he in there until something's accomplished. He was working out with Aaliyah. He was doing vocal lessons. She was doing a lot. Diane got tired a few times, and then she trusted Aaliyah with us. You know, they would send a car to pick her up, and she would come into the studio and they'd work.
When when you found out that R. Kelly married Aaliyah, what did you say to him? What did you do? How did you feel?
When I found out,
yeah, you were there, right?
That he married Aaliyah, right? I was there.
Yeah.
When I found out, we were on tour. When I realized,
you was at the wedding, right? You was at the wedding in the room, right?
Yes, I was.
Yeah.
Yes, I was. When I realized that Robert had really touched it, that this affair was real, that that what we had been beginning to see all this stuff began right there. And
So-
that's when
so
it
you-
happened. It
so-
just blew up right there.
So you
It
knew
blew up
something.
right there.
You knew something was going on, but this was the very moment you was like, okay, this is really real. And why would you be at that wedding knowing that she was underage?
Why?
Yeah.
Like I say, when this stuff happened, it just happened. It's like you with your son, and or you with somebody. You go to the store with somebody, and or you've been hanging out with this cat, and y'all cool, and all of a sudden he do something. He gets the police stop him outside. He get caught, but he with you.
So you
And
was
he said,
on.
"Man, I need
You was
$50
on.
to get out of this right now."
So you was.
And you give it to him just for that moment. It's for that moment. And it was he was told that Robert was told that he's going to jail for marrying Leah. I'm telling him this. I'm trying to talk them out of not doing to not do this, man.
At the wedding. At the
You know.
wedding. At the wedding. This is what you
Before
were
the
telling me.
wedding.
Before the wedding. So you.
Before the wedding.
Okay. Right. Okay. So before
I'm
the
telling
wedding,
you, man, this
telling
all happened in a day.
Uh-huh.
This wasn't in this whole Aaliyah thing didn't happen.
Did you? Why didn't you call her parents when you knew that's what he was about to do? Why didn't you call them?
I'm all right. This is where let me tell you. I didn't call her parents.
Why?
I worked for Robert. I worked for Robert Kelly. Listen to me. I worked for Robert Kelly. Okay, this just happened, and we get to Chicago. I talk to Daryl. I say, man, what you doing, man? You can't do this, man. I'm supposed to call Daryl, but my loyalty was to Robert right then.
There was no
That's what
loyalty
my
to the
loyalty
fact that
was
there
for
was
that.
an underage girl that this man was sleeping with.
Well,
Right.
I didn't know he was sleeping with Aaliyah.
Well, you knew
I
he was
didn't know
about to
that.
marry her. You knew it was uncomfortable, that it was illegal. You
It was
knew that
uncomfortable
she was
situation.
minor. I mean,
It was an uncomfortable situation.
are you a father?
And at that moment,
Are you?
yes, I am.
Get him.
So
Yes, I am.
do you have a daughter?
I have remorse. I have remorse for that, man, so much. It was a bad decision. I
Bad
made
decision.
that. I'm not a perfect person. I'm not a perfect person. But my decision put it on everybody before they did that, and then I just stood there. And I'm like, man. And then when that happened, that's when they were supposed to meet. Then make that decision. After that,
Your phone is
Get
breaking
home.
up, Demetrius. Your phone breaking up.
okay.
Okay.
Give me a
go
moment. Go ahead.
What's
Yeah,
up, Shirley?
so-
Good morning. Good afternoon, Mama.
When did you leave after he married R. Kelly? I mean, after he married Aaliyah. When did you leave?
I left after he married Aaliyah.
Directly after, right then and there.
Not that day, but
When? How
after.
long?
It was pretty much. It was right after that. Maybe it was in that week. Yeah, I didn't pretty much do nothing after that, man. Because I fought that, man. I fought for that not to happen, man. I fought. I talked to Daryl, and then they say, well, man, we got to do this, or Robert's going to jail for a long time. Okay, so here it is. I'm with somebody that I've been with for 7 years before this. I'm with Robert in the beginning. Robert is like my little brother. Robert is like my son.
When the
Robert is
last time you talked to Robert?
I haven't talked to Robert. Last time I saw Robert was maybe a year and a half.
And what did he say to
here
you?
in LA.
Did y'all have any words? He said anything?
I asked him what he was doing. I said, Rob, what's going on? He was with Wayne Williams, and they were at a little club. I said, man, what you doing, man? I said, you did this already, Rob. What's happening with you, man? Why you still ain't acting right, man? And then I was disgusted with him, and I left.
And so
I gave him my number. He never called me, and I left.
you saw him with other girls. I know you said some of you guys would go to the malls or stuff of that nature, underage girls.
No.
No?
I never said that, man.
No?
I didn't know. Robert, I never approved Robert an underage girl. When Robert was associating in the beginning with like Tiffany Hawkins, and when Aaliyah was around at that time, their parents were involved in that. See, and before they went on a tour, they had to sign a paper from their parents. Their parents used to bring them to the studios back and forth. Okay, I didn't stay in there watching anything. I
He's
was
a
out there trying to get
liar.
things happening.
So Tim,
And then when I did,
I just want to be clear because I know people. I want to be fair, and people watching and listening, they watch. I just want to read this. Robert, this is you on the docuseries. Robert dated a lot of women from a lot of different cities, and we would fly them in, and we would fly them out.
And none of them were minors when I was there. None of them.
Okay.
None of
them. Then to go back, it says Smith
He's
also
a
needed to
liar.
forge paperwork for R. Kelly's marriage to then 15-year-old Aaliyah. to make it look like she was 18. A decision he was
I
not
didn't do
proud
that.
of.
I didn't forge. Right.
So,
Not
so they
forge.
messed up your words. You got your words mixed up, is what you're saying.
Yeah, that's all that is. Yeah.
Did you tell them that so they can edit it and make sure it was right?
I didn't see it, man. They did. I mean, they put certain parts of my words in certain places where they wanted to put them at. Like that part you're talking about, going to get the girls. They placed that in that part. That wasn't what I told them and how I told them.
That
was totally edited.
Did they pay you to be on the show? Did you get paid?
That's my personal business there, man.
I'm just asking.
Why I did that. I went on that show. I did that.
So
everybody
you did get
got
paid
paid
to be on
that
the show.
showed some
I
type
know
of
you're a survivor, but you
documentation.
got paid.
Yeah, I got paid. Yeah.
Did you do it for the money? Would you have done it without getting paid?
I'd have done it without getting paid.
So why didn't you?
Because they told me that it was for Robert, and it would be an opportunity for me to explain myself. Because every time I look on the internet, man, I'm a low down dog. You see, I made a bad decision, man. You see, but I'm the one that went out and spoke up before any of this happened. As I said, I got a lot of pain in this.
Yes, 2011.
What did Aaliyah's parents?
I had 4 children when I left.
What did Aaliyah's parents say to you, or what did you say to them after this marriage? What was the conversation like? Or did you have a conversation? Demetrius? I guess we lost him there. All right. He's surviving R. Kelly. Demetrius Smith, former tour manager and personal assistant on the show. We wish him well. And don't forget his book is out. It came out in 2011. So make sure you go and check that out. It's on Amazon. The Man Behind the Man, Looking from the Inside Out, where he tells his story. Or is this them calling back? Oh, it was our phone that went out. It's our phone. The first young girl experience you saw was when he married Aaliyah, correct?
Yes, that was when being a pedophile was real to me.
Okay.
You see, or to somebody like, wow, hell no, man, he didn't do this. Now, if that would have happened, I would have made a different decision. You see, but I wouldn't have did. What I'm gonna do, man? I can't take my best friend. Man, I just broke the law. Let's go. I'm taking you to the police. Ain't nobody doing that in the world, man.
So your loyalty was him.
I took him. It's not just by part loyalty. He the one that was disloyal, not me. Okay. I took him to his people. They took him to her mother. Now, lock his ass up. Y'all do it.
So
I did what I.
So his mother.
Keep him.
So y'all took him to Aaliyah's mother.
No, we didn't take him. Aaliyah went right home. She didn't spend no time after they got married. Right home. Now that's their decision to come get his ass. After that, we didn't have nothing to talk about no more. Being honest with you, because I didn't like Daryl no more. I didn't like none of them. And then I am a man that ain't never had shit, been working with this kid for 5 years, got 4 kids. Now I got to make it my way. I resort back to my learned behavior. My learned behavior was I grew up in the projects. I grew up in Henry Hornet, Cabrini Green, and lived on the west side of Chicago. And I grew up I grew up hard. So I had to resort back to that to take care of my kids. And that's exactly what I did. And then I went to prison. Where did I write that book? I laid down in prison and wrote that.
How long were you in prison?
For 5 years, 4 months, and 68 days. See,
what did you
why am I in here?
What did you go? What did you go in for? What did you go in?
I had 36 counts of commercial burglary. 36 counts. I don't hurt nobody. I was a fantastic thief. And I got caught with like $500,000 worth of iPods when they first came out.
Wow.
He was
But I had
Southside Posse. He got
already had an armed robbery when I was a kid. I had assaults, a bunch of them. So they tried to all that to get me this.
So you left Rob right after he married Aaliyah.
Right after Leah. Right
okay.
after.
So right after
that.
You okay? Got it. That's what I got. All right.
And then I was called back again in '96.
Then he called you
when
back.
He did. In '96, I went back because he was buck wild. So I was telling him when I used to say, "Hey man, y'all should tell Robert y'all not play his records, see, because until he gets control of himself." My after show activities, after concert activities were buck wild.
What's buck
wild? They were running me fucking. Buck wild is you got a long line of girls on, you see, young and old, but pulling are younger or not younger. Nobody was there 14, 15, that. None of that.
Mm-hmm.
When Rob across the stage, 18 and over, that's what they were. And there was a long line of them. And I had to be frustrated with it because I couldn't get my driver there. My driver would get up after
He's
the concert.
Such a liar.
To another city, 6 to 8 hours away. Right. So he got to drive up tonight. He's been resting. I'm up. Now, Robert entertained everybody in the back until 4, 5 in the morning. And my driver just sitting. Our lives is at stake. I got a lot of responsibility on the road. All right. I put people in place to handle a young kid that his gift.
Your phone is breaking up. We're gonna get ready to bounce. What year, Demetrius, was the last that you worked for R. Kelly? When did you officially leave?
I officially resigned from there in '96. Like I say, he called me right back. I stayed for 3 days.
Yeah.
They flew me to Europe, and shit was buck wild, and I left.
And
put me right back on the plane.
And why did you go back knowing that with that behavior of his and that he had married Aaliyah?
Well, I thought that at that point because of what we went through. Well, let me see. Was it man? Well, Barry knows still. Yeah, he was doing the. Barry the one asked me to come back.
Yeah. So Barry asked you to come back.
Barry asked me to come back.
What does your family say about all this?
My family?
Yeah.
About
close friends and associates. The fact
about what?
About everything. About your relationship and about you being on Surviving R. Kelly.
My family is mad at R. Kelly because R. Kelly hurt a lot of lives. R. Kelly hurt a lot of people, a lot of lives, man. Yeah. R. Kelly changed the course of people's lives. See, I felt like, he changed the course of people's lives, man. You know, my family, I put my heart in the things that I do. See, I put my heart into you. You see, and when I work for you, and then I'm loyal.
Mm-hmm.
And now you can cross me. Now I done put 10, 11 years into you, and now I'm set free. And nothing to go for. Now I got to go back into this world, and I got to learn how, because I've been on red carpet all of Robert Kelly's career. You see, even when he wasn't making money, we made money because I showed him how to make money every single day.
How?
I shaped R. Kelly. I shaped him. Wow. As I said, I was an entertainer. R. Kelly was a bumpy-faced kid with big ears, and people used to bash him. He wouldn't come outside. He stayed in his house, in his room. He was scared. I took him out. I showed him what he would look like on stage. I gave him the confidence that he needed to have out there. He had the talent. But once I got a hold of his power, the people around him, they just let him, y'all understand, man. Like I said.
I'm listening, bro. I'm cool. I hear.
I went through a lot with this guy, man. You know, I knew he would be a star. We had humble beginnings. And then those forces of negativity came in.
All right.
Robert deceived everybody. Okay, and then the tables of judgment came forth. Now where are we? You see, so it was a lot of despair messing with Robert, man.
All right, Demetrius Smith.
A web of destruction.
Hey,
I
man.
went to rehab and.
Wow, you went through a lot. I hear it in your voice. You're speaking from emotions. You're speaking from emotions of a place of hurt. I hear that. I cry
in my heart over Aaliyah, man. I cry over Aaliyah, man, because I feel like. It's not meant. It wasn't my fault. It wasn't nothing that I could do. You know, it's just like when you go on to the doctor and your child on and I think something different. It's up to you to make that decision. And that was up to her parents to make the decision about Robert, not me, as far as locking him up. I felt like it should have been, but it's wasn't my responsibility to do that.
Why,
now, if he was like,
why do you think?
Like if I took him out of town
Yeah. Why do you think they didn't pursue to lock him up?
I told you I left after that. I mean, I think a lot of money passed the table.
All right.
That's what I think. You see, but I didn't have nothing to do with that.
Hey, Demetrius,
I was the one left and got kicked out.
I gotta go. Thanks
Okay.
for the time, man, and hopefully, you know, you will get yourself to where you need to be in life. You know, your dreams, your goals, and that you get healed from this. All right,
man. I went through a lot for this, man. Yeah,
all
my
right.
family's suffering because of what I went through with Robert, man. All right. God
All right,
bless
bro.
you and keep you, man.
All right, take care.
Thank you.
All right. Part.
Oh boy. Well, Candy, Diana signed an NDA and Susan is a lawyer. Okay. That's what I think. That's why. That's what I think. That's what I think. So, yep, money talks. He's an old dirty dog. Someone wanted her out the way. So sad. Yeah. Yeah. You're talking about Aaliyah's mother, or are you talking about Susan Loggins? Who are you talking about, Candy? That someone wanted her out the way. So let's go back to reading some more of the book. Oh, Aaliyah. Oh my God. You know, God bless her soul. Kels Tears, he was the perfect example of that name. Shout out to Team Kels Tears. Ah, man. Ah, man. You said it right. God bless Aaliyah, I tell you. He felt bad, but got the fake ID anyway. Right. Like I would have been telling her parents right away, listen, R. Kelly's trying to marry your daughter. I think he's having sex with her. I think you need to stop this. I think you need to do that. I think you need to do this. After that, it's up to the parents. You know what I mean? But if he would have told the parents right then and there, then maybe they would never had gotten married. The incidents would have happened with her being abused as a minor, but at least they wouldn't have gotten married and it wouldn't have gotten so far. And if the parents would have pursued criminal charges against him, then other girls wouldn't have gotten in that same predicament. So that's what it is. Rocket says he felt bad but got the fake IDs anyway. What about the child, Demetrius? You were a father of 4, right? Fuck off, Demetrius. Right. He was a father of 4 children, but wasn't worried about the children that were around him. Okay? Because they weren't his children. So he didn't give a fuck, basically. Okay, so now here in this part, it's at the part where they were at the bar and where Demetrius saw the wallet and Demetrius took the $200 out the wallet. So this is part of that scene. He says, as he went through it, he looked up. I know I had more money than this, he said. At this point, R. Kelly found his wallet because he went looking for his wallet. He was like, oh shit, I lost my wallet. So he went all over the place looking for the wallet. When he found the wallet, he looked in the wallet, and this is what he said when he looked in the wallet. He said, as he went through it, he looked up. I know I had more money than this, he said. He made a big deal out of it. He was angry. Somebody took $700 out of my wallet like I'm stupid. I know somebody gonna come up with my money, he said. He don't know math, but he knows how to count $100 bills. You know. Okay, here he's talking about Aaliyah. He says she needed her mother. In my book, they needed each other. In the meantime, I looked at my career. This had hurt me too. I knew working with Aaliyah in any way was out of the question. My chance to branch out and build a career was damaged. And this is basically what he was saying on that interview with the interviewer that we just saw. Okay? That it hurt him. And that he couldn't continue his career because of what happened between him and Aaliyah. Yes, Mama. Okay, sorry about that, guys. That was my mom. I had to take care of that real quick. My children should be coming home from school in a minute too, so you already know. I'm gonna pause a few times in between. Hey Ty, what's up, baby? Okay. So now here he says Sean, Vince, and Mark were considered extremely handsome young men, and Robert didn't want public announcement to have the same image. He made sure I had control of them and their actions from the beginning. So this party's talking about in the beginning when they started out as with public announcement before R. Kelly became solo, that R. Kelly was kind of like jealous of the guys. So he would make sure that Demetrius would, distract them and shit like that so that R. Kelly could get all the attention from the girls and things like that. A real predator. R. Kelly was a real predator in real time. I could see early that Dre from Public Announcement, right? Our boy Dre. What's up, Dre? By the way, shout out to Dre. He got a YouTube channel out here, Digital Hits Radio. Go check him out. So I could see early that Dre was sucking up to Robert. This is what he said about Dre. He said, I could see early that Dre was sucking up to Robert. It didn't matter what it was Robert needed. Dre was willing to go do it for the sake of kissing his ass. Dre, you hear what Demetrius said about you, Dre? Oh, shit. Okay? He said you was kissing R. Kelly's ass all the time. You was sucking up to Robert like, Woohoo! Then he says, Rick and Earl, the other two members of Public Announcement, and I would always leave. So Rick and Earl and Demetrius would leave, and Dre would stay behind and hang out with R. Kelly at his apartment. Wifey, what's up, baby? Now, here he's talking about Tiffany Hawkins. Whenever you guys hear Tia, he's talking about Tiffany Hawkins, okay? Tia, I shouted, you can make him pay you. Make him pay for you and your son, I told her. You don't have to hurt yourself. You only gonna be hurting your son and your family, Tia. Robert gonna go on doing what they do when you gone, baby girl. So at this point in this scene that he's talking right here has to do with him meeting up with Tiffany Hawkins at a park because she was prepared to kill herself. She was threatening to kill herself. She had a gun to her head. This is according to Demetrius. Now he says, I realized that R. Kelly wasn't doing anything to help me come up, or anybody else for that matter. All of his actions were about him and him alone. This was his shit, as he once said, as if he created and put all of his success together all by himself. Trading My Life, which he wrote for Aaliyah. It was during his time of pain and suffering that I stood close by him. So he made that song, Trading My Life. He wrote that, dedicating it to Aaliyah. Matter of fact, let me see if I can find that song and see if I can find the lyrics with it. Let me see. Let me go through it real quick, guys. Let's see. Oh. Okay. Sorry, guys. All right, I'm gonna find the okay. All right. So I found the video with the words. We're gonna get to that in a minute. Let's just finish this out. So the song Trading My Life, which he wrote for Aaliyah, it was during his time of pain and suffering that I stood close by him. I would overlook his selfish ways and make sure he was okay. But right after the storm was over, he was back to being that fool, right back to having a faucet attitude. What's going on? I asked when I entered the room. Now, this is back at the hotel in New York when they did that concert with Salt and Pepper and all of them and that stuff. He said, because remember that there was a problem with LL Cool J. There was a problem with Suge Knight. All right. So he says, what's going on? I asked when I entered the room. Suge looked at me. Who is you? He asked as his posse secured the door behind me. I'm Demetrius Smith. I'm R. Kelly's tour manager. Is there a problem? What's going on? I asked, looking around the room into the eyes of the different faces surrounding me. So he had got into a run-in with Suge Knight and R. Kelly because something happened with the VIP section and shit like that. Suge Knight wanted to go into R. Kelly's VIP section, and Demetrius said, no, don't let Suge Knight in there. You know what I mean? Or Bruce Kelly, one of those two said it. It's coming up. It's coming up. So now he says, I knew I had to begin thinking about my future without him because for now I was a slave in his camp. I wasn't able to make any moves without his permission. Everything, I mean everything, had to go through him. I was his puppet, and I didn't like myself for being so submissive. So Demetrius Smith was like, it came to a point where he had to think, it's either I go through this, keep going through this slave bullshit, or I get the hell out of here. Okay. Then he says, I knew I had to begin thinking about my future without him because he was a slave to the camp. You know, people were starting to ignore him. R. Kelly was starting to get more and more power where he was like, no, don't talk to Demetri. You got to come to me first. No, don't talk to Demetrius. You got to come to me first. That's when Demetrius just started slowly but surely feeling like a painting on the wall, you know? So this is what he was explaining in this part. He says, I was actually worried about Robert. After 2 weeks, he came out of the closet. Robert actually slept in the closet, guys, after he married Aaliyah. Hi, big boy. How are you? Daddy's in the bathroom. My son just came home, guys. I was actually worried about Robert. After 2 weeks, he came out of the closet. He was passionate with his desire to get back into the studio.
Who came out the closet? Who's gay?
R. Kelly, and it's not because he was gay, it's because he was literally sleeping in the closet.
Oh my.
So now he says, and it was me and people like me, Larry Hood, Tory Diggs, Chuck, and Eric Payton. Now wait. That name, Eric Payton, for me, it hit a bell in my brain and said, Eric Payton, is this man by any chance related to Valerie Payton and their daughter Juice? Is this the husband? Is this a relative? Eric Payton, Valerie Payton, Andrea Payton. I forgot what her name is. I think that's her name. I'm wondering if this Eric Payton has any relation to Valerie Payton. I wanted to try to research, but all I kept finding was a baseball player, I think it was, or something like that. I don't remember exactly, but I was kind of going cold. But I'll see if maybe I can keep digging and digging and digging, because I do want to find out. So they're saying, Demetrius was saying that these gentlemen, including himself, were the ones that groomed him and supported him and made sure he was protected and safe. We made sure he had what he needed to get him to the next level. And we made it possible for him to be where he was. Fucking Ty. Now he just sleeps on the bottom bunk.
Mom,
Yes, honey.
where's Sandy?
Andy is outside.
Where?
She's outside with her friends at school. Okay, so then he says, I felt it would be senseless to argue with him. All right, man, I said. I decided I wasn't going to tell anyone to shut the lights off. Now, this is an issue that happened with LL Cool J and R. Kelly when they did the show with Salt and Pepper and all of them when they were on the tour, on the promotional tour. Okay? He says, I felt it would be senseless to argue with him. All right, man, I said. I decided I wasn't going to tell anyone to shut the lights off because R. Kelly was telling Demetrius to go over to the lighting crew and tell them not to give LL Cool J his lights. Okay? So he says, now I have, hold on, wait. Matter of fact, let me find the video. Where's the video I have? Let me see if I find it. Hold on. Where the hell is it? Where the hell is it? Hold on. Okay, let me see if I can find it again. Okay, here we go. Okay. Hold on. I'm going to share this. This is from the channel called 247hh.com. Okay. Now they had Tamika, as we know, Tiny, right? Tamika Harris, which is Tiny from Escape. She spoke about the incident that happened with R. Kelly, LL Cool J and R. Kelly. Let me hold on. Let me, espérate. Guys, please go like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Okay. Make sure you leave a comment in the comment section of the video, like the video, and subscribe to the channel, okay? Like I said, this is from 247hh.com. This is not, I don't own the rights to this video. This is their content. I'm just using it for commentary purposes. Okay, teaching tool, teaching method.
Here's a word from R. Kelly and LL when they got into a little fight. No, I was just thinking about that. I don't really remember a lot of my crazy, times at parties, especially like the parties. I, however, do remember sometimes on the road. First of all, we didn't do a lot of arena tours. We did 2 big tours, and they both were with R. Kelly. One thing that I remember, R. Kelly had this thing where he did not want people outside of your dressing room when he gets ready to go on stage. So he would cut all the lights off and everybody got to stay in their dressing room. And this particular tour, we had LL Cool J on the tour, and I think it was maybe Salt and Pepper. And LL was like, I'm not going in my room. And so it was a big old brawl, and they got to fighting. And that was, something like, because, everybody was going with his rules, but LL was not having it. So that happened. They fought, and I guess he took it like a man, and one beat, the other one, went on, but he stayed on the tour, so I guess it worked out. So we were, one of the other times we was on tour with Robert, he had this stretch like a limo that he had on stage, and it headed up in the air, and we somehow got in it, was looking at it, just in it, checking it out, and they headed up in the air, and we got stuck in there because he went on stage and was doing his show. Some of our people knew we were in there, so after they let him know why he was on stage, and he kind of let us out after about 2 or 3 songs. Some of my memorable moments performing was my kids being able to come and see me perform, because they've never seen, my daughter saw me when she was a baby. So, seeing them out there while I was performing, they were singing the songs that I didn't think they knew, because, they were like 12, 13, so my youngest, one of my sons or whatever. So that was a nice moment for me to see all my kids out there, enjoying the music, seeing the singing.
She said that they got into a whole fight, and it had to do with R. Kelly. There was a brawl. So Demetrius Smith, they mentioned nothing about a brawl. No. He didn't mention nothing about a brawl. Let me go back. So, okay. So he said that it felt senseless to argue, blah, blah, blah. He wasn't going to tell anyone to shut the lights off. This time, I was going to give him something to be mad at me about. He said, I knew that R. Kelly would be in his dressing room while LL was performing and wouldn't know what happened during the show unless somebody told them. Now we're back to Suge Knight. He says, I was standing face to face with the huge Mr. Suge Knight as he stood flexing his muscles. Your boy here needs to learn a lesson in respect, Suge Knight said, looking at Bruce up and down, because he was talking to Bruce. Yeah, your name is Suge, right? I asked him. They told me he didn't know who you were, and so he had you stopped. Now, we're going back to Tia. He says that when he had arrived and met Tia at the park, when I got out the car, he says, Tia stepped back. I noticed she had something in her hand. I couldn't see it clearly, but as I walked up on her, she put the object I was looking at to her head. It was a small caliber pistol. Tia wasn't joking. She was crying. Y'all think I'm playing? Don't you? She was sobbing. Like, at this point, you don't even fucking take this girl to the cops and just say, listen, this happened and I was a witness and I know that these girls are messing around with him and blah, blah, blah. No, I never saw them actually having sex, but I know it's going on. You know, like, you didn't stand up for shit, Demetrius. Loyalty, you were loyal to Rob and he showed you no fucking loyalty. Fuck him. You was just thinking about the money. That's all you were thinking about, Demetrius. You weren't thinking about those girls. You weren't thinking about Rob. You was thinking about the money and your family. And I get it. But at the end of the day, you knew he was doing shit he shouldn't have been doing, and you should have took a stand then and there and helped those girls. You think just because you told them to go to Susan Loggins, that was help? No. You should have took them to the cops. That's what you should have done. You should have took them to the cops and been like, listen, I was there. I know that they did, that this happened. I believe her. I will help testify. All right. You did that with Tiffany, but it was like you were forced to do it. You said you were basically forced to do it. You didn't really want to get involved, but, you know, you had no other choice. But, you know, coming up with all these fucking excuses. So then he says, I was frustrated a lot with R. Kelly during this tour because he wasn't listening to anyone. Although everything was organized, nothing was ever good enough for him. He was doing everything he could to push me away. Back to LL Cool J. He said, I assured LL that nothing else would happen again, and I apologize on behalf of R. Kelly. After R. Kelly finished doing his show, he went to talk to LL, and LL let Rob know that he was on the tour for the fans and that if he had any more mishaps, he would leave the tour. Now we're going back to Tia. He says, I continued to ignore Tia until one night because Tiffany kept calling him and he was ignoring her calls. He said, I continued to ignore Tia until one night she called and left a message on my phone, crying and saying she was about to kill herself. I contacted Rob immediately to let him hear the message. And then Rob tells him, call her. He said, back to LL Cool J. He said, we were not using the back lights that were designed for his show. LL only wanted a spotlight, and the stage lights were electronically set. There was no way LL's lights show could affect R. Kelly's lights show. So they were two totally different programs. So he tried to play that bullshit with Jay-Z, and Jay-Z sued him. And then he countersued Jay-Z and won. Now he says, I know your boss had that shit done. This is what LL Cool J is saying to Demetrius. He said, I know your boss had that shit done just like he got you to come down here. I smiled as he was talking. This is what Demetrius said, that he smiled as LL was talking. LL was just that cool and real. He called it as he saw it. He confronted the situation and it balanced itself out. Now, back to Aaliyah. Even Barry was calling me to talk to me about upcoming events he wanted me to relay to R. Kelly. In spite of the Aaliyah incident, Barry was still R. Kelly's manager, and he kept it business. So Barry Hankerson knows that Aaliyah's got married and had sex with R. Kelly, and all this happened, and Barry continued to not think about his niece and continue to think about himself and work with R. Kelly. Now, back to Tia. Tia was hysterical, and she cried into the phone. I asked her to let me come over to talk to her, so she agreed to meet with me. Robert agreed that I should go and meet with her. Go and see if she got a gun, he said. I met with Tia at the corner of 98 and University behind Chicago State University. Okay, now we're back to Suge Knight. He says, he then looked at me up and down before shaking my hand. I didn't want to show any signs of being intimidated by him. So I said, just a little mistake, man. Now he knows who you are. Shaking my hand, Suge said. You all right, man. You got some heart. You gonna be in LA next week? I'm gonna show you how it's done there. He took that as a threat. He got scared. He was like, I don't know if he's threatening me or he just being nice. Now, back to LL Cool J. R. Kelly told me to tell production, this is what happened with Demetrius Smith and R. Kelly. R. Kelly told him what to do for LL Cool J. So this is where the scenario started. He said, R. Kelly told me to tell production to deny LL the backlights during the show and give him one spotlight. I stood ground with him and told him, man, LL is a legend. We've got to give to him whatever he wants, man. This is a co-headline tour. Demetrius is like, what are you talking about? We can't do that. What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, the both of you are headliners. Why would you want to sabotage him? R. Kelly's a fucking hater. He's so jealous. It's scary. Now, we're talking about Tia again. Now, Demetrius says, Robert was messing around with both Tia and Aaliyah at the same time. Tia became disturbed when she learned of R. Kelly and Aaliyah's relationship. This really messed things up because prior to finding this out, Tia was excited about going out on the upcoming tour with Aaliyah after the release of her album, Age Ain't Nothing But a Number. It began with Aaliyah. After that, we went through an interval which brought a chain reaction of negative publicity on R. Kelly and the team of people working with him. Then there came Tiffany, Tia Hawkins. She was one of the young ladies that sung background vocals on Aaliyah's Back and Forth album. So, what now? You want to have him beat down because he didn't know who you were? I asked with my arms open and my hands spread apart. I don't know you either until the guys told me who you were. Again, my name is Demetrius, and now we know each other. It is a pleasure to meet you, I said, sticking my hand out to him for a handshake. Now he's talking about Suge Knight. So now Demetrius got paranoid because of what Suge Knight has said. Yo, if you're gonna be in LA, whatever, da 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 da. I'll show you how it's done out here. Sorry, guys. I'm baking. I'm baking in the background. I'm baking in the background. Warning, warning. Baking in the background. So in this part, he says, we hired the FOI, which is the Fruit of Islam, for security. When they went to LA, that's who they hired as security when they went to LA. They hired the Fruit of Islam, babe, for security. He says, and I made arrangements for them to meet at the hotel when we arrived in LA. We were in and out of LA, leaving right after R. Kelly's show. This was a good thing because our next stop was home. Now he says, walking in behind a couple of the ladies, escorted past security by Bruce, was Suge Knight. Now this is where the problem was, because Bruce told security that Suge Knight was not with him or his guest and should not be let into the VIP section. That's when the incident happened, because Bruce told them those people aren't with me and my brother's team. They're not allowed in here. Babe. He says, I'm sure if he wanted to, back to LL, he said, I'm sure if he wanted to, LL could have negotiated closing the show, but he didn't trip. He was all about pleasing the fans and making money. LL was a real professional, okay? R. Kelly, on the other hand, was on an ego trip. Rob tried to take advantage of the technicality inside LL's rider. LL asked for true lighting, but did not stipulate backlights. So that was the issue. So then Daryl, so now we're talking about Daryl McDavid. So now Daryl McDavid, he's talking about Daryl McDavid. He says, Daryl McDavid would let me drive his black 1994 Benz back and forth from the office to the studio, and occasionally he would allow me to keep the car overnight. Once Rob saw me sporting the Benz, he said something to Daryl. Next thing I knew, Daryl told me that Rob didn't approve of me having his car. So, as you could see, R. Kelly was trying to sabotage Demetrius Smith as well. Like, fuck him, you can't trust him, blah, blah, blah. Who knows what he said to Daryl, you know what I mean? He might sell your car, he's a crackhead, da, 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 da. Because you have to understand, R. Kelly likes to cause chaos. This is what a true narcissist does. Because he knows he has to have control of everything. And he has to know everything that's going on. Now, back to LL Cool J. LL Cool J was awesome on the stage. He was the same off the stage as well. The first few times I met him, he was always polite. He had a sincere, caring charisma. I love you, LL Cool J. I want to hear a story from you about what happened with you and R. Kelly. If you remember, I want to hear your story, LL. We got to hear your story. I don't know if LL ever spoke about it ever. Okay. My daughter just got home. She's outside in the yard. Okay. Give me 1 second. All right, wait. Let me go back real quick. I'm gonna pause for a second, guys. I'm gonna hit you guys with another little video here. Okay. Okay. Okay, hold on. Hold on. Okay. I'm going to share this tab instead right now. Okay, shout out to Real Estate Cass. Okay. This is not my content. This belongs to Real Estate Cass. Okay. Please go like, share, and subscribe to the video, to the content creator. I'm using this for learning tool. Okay. Now this video has to do with R. Kelly's, a little bit of his life and real estate timeline as of 2023. Okay, this video came out a month ago. So let's, while I go and deal with my daughter real quick, okay? It's a quick little 11-minute video. Shout out to Real Estate Cast.
You have captured the hearts and minds of audiences quite like R. Kelly. But like many great artists, R. Kelly's life has been marked by triumphs and tragedies, soaring highs and crushing lows. Today's video will cover R. Kelly's life of luxury, his real estate over time along with his timeline from fame, fortune to his loss of freedom. R. Kelly had quite a career in the music industry, but also been embroiled in controversy over the years. Despite the many allegations and legal troubles he has faced, R. Kelly held onto a lavish and luxurious image and lifestyle as long as he could, with multiple large properties in various locations. In this video, we will explore R. Kelly's lifestyle, including his timeline, the mansions he owned, their descriptions and locations. While information about some of his homes may be limited, we will do our best to provide as much detail as possible. Let's take a closer look at R. Kelly's home ownership, timeline, and lifestyle. January 8, 1967 marks the birth of Robert Sylvester Kelly, born to Joanne Kelly, a school teacher in the housing projects of Chicago. Growing up, he found solace in singing at church, which his mother supported by teaching him how to slow down the revolutions of a record to learn Stevie Wonder's runs. But as a child, he also witnessed older youth sexually abuse one of his girlfriends, an experience that he would carry with him. In 1983, at age 16, his mother moved the family out of the projects and enrolled him in the prestigious Kenwood Academy, where he found his mentor, Lena McLin, who inspired him to pursue his dreams. After performing in local talent shows and Chicago subway stations, R. Kelly's R&B group MGM wins the grand prize on the syndicated television talent show Big Break in 1990. 2 years later, he debuts Born into the 90 Seconds with Public Announcement, and the album goes platinum. His 1993 album 12 Play sells over 5 million copies. He began to produce hit songs for Michael Jackson, Toni Braxton, and Janet Jackson, solidifying his place in the music industry. In 1994, at the age of 27, R. Kelly made headlines when he married 15-year-old R&B singer Aaliyah D. Houghton in a secret ceremony at a hotel in Chicago. The marriage was annulled months later due to Aaliyah's age. During this time, R. Kelly owned a luxurious 6,000 square foot property in the near West Side neighborhood of Chicago, which featured 5 bedrooms, 7 bathrooms, a recording studio, a home theater, and many other amenities. In 1997, R. Kelly purchased his infamous R. Kelly Mansion, a 22,000 square foot property located in the wealthy suburb of Olympia Fields, Illinois. The property has been the subject of much controversy and media attention over the years. The mansion features 6 bedrooms, 8 bathrooms, a movie theater, an indoor pool, and a recording studio. During this time, R. Kelly continued to release successful albums and win multiple Grammy Awards, including the award for Best R&B Song and Best Male R&B Performance for his hit song I Believe I Can Fly. However, he also faced multiple allegations and lawsuits, including one from Tiffany Hawkins, who accused him of intentional sexual battery and sexual harassment when she was a minor. Despite these controversies, R. Kelly's music continued to sell millions of copies, and he remained a prominent figure in the music industry. R. Kelly also acquired a 6,500 square foot mansion located in the gated community of Miami Beach's Sunset Island 2. The property was reportedly purchased by R. Kelly for $1.5 million, which was sold in 2004 for $2.1 million. The property featured 6 bedrooms, 6 bathrooms, a swimming pool, and a dock that could accommodate a large yacht. It was also located near other celebrity-owned properties, including those owned by Anna Kournikova and Shaquille O'Neal. After being arrested at his Chicago property on charges of child pornography in 2002, R. Kelly was indicted in Chicago on 21 counts of child pornography stemming from a videotape that allegedly showed him having sex with a minor.
Mr. Chappelle.
He pleaded not guilty and was released on $750,000 bail. In January 2003, Kelly was arrested at a hotel in Florida on additional child pornography charges after investigators said they found incriminating photos of him. He was released on $12,000 bond, and the charges were later dropped after a judge ruled that the police didn't have a warrant to search Kelly's house. Despite the legal troubles, Kelly's music career continued to flourish. In February 2003, his album Chocolate Factory was released and sold 538,000 copies in its first week. In 2004, Cook County prosecutors dropped 7 of the 21 child pornography charges against him. Later that year, Kelly filed a $90 million lawsuit against Jay-Z and a promoter, claiming breach of contract and sabotage. Jay-Z had kicked Kelly off their 40-city tour, citing Kelly's unpredictable behavior. In September 2005, his wife Andrea asked for an order of protection, accusing him of hitting her when she said she wanted a divorce. The couple reconciled, but later said they were living in different homes. During his 2008 child pornography trial, Kelly's brother Kerry claimed that R. Kelly offered him $50,000 and a record deal to say that he was the person on the video. The trial began in May 2008, and Kelly was acquitted on all counts after less than a full day of deliberations in June 2008. In January 2009, Kelly and Andrea confirmed they had divorced after 11 years of marriage. On July 12, 2011, J.P. Morgan Chase Bank filed a foreclosure against R. Kelly's suburban Chicago mansion, claiming he owed $2.9 million in mortgage payments. Kelly denied having financial trouble. The Chicago Sun-Times reported on June 15, 2012, that Kelly owed the IRS over $4.8 million in back taxes. On March 18, 2013, Kelly's custom-built mansion, which was once valued at over $5 million, was sold in a foreclosure auction for $950,000. On July 17, 2017, BuzzFeed published a report on parents' claims that Kelly was holding their daughters in an abusive cult in his custom-built mansion. The report sparked outrage, and activists launched the #MuteRKelly movement, calling for boycotts of his music. The property was the subject of protests and a BuzzFeed News investigation into Kelly's alleged emotional and physical abuse of women. On February 13, 2018, Kelly was evicted from 2 Atlanta area homes for unpaid back rent. In April 2018, the Time's Up campaign joined the #MuteRKelly social media campaign, urging further investigation into Kelly's behavior. Spotify, Apple, and Pandora stopped promoting his music, citing their policies on hateful conduct. On May 21, 2018, Faith Rogers filed a lawsuit accusing Kelly of sexual battery and abuse. On August 15, 2018, a property company sued Kelly for $203,400 over extensive damage to 2 homes he rented and settled for $170,000. On July 12, 2011, Crain's Chicago Business reported that a foreclosure of $2.9 million had been filed by J.P. Morgan Chase Bank against R. Kelly's suburban Chicago mansion. Despite the financial trouble, a spokesman for the singer claimed he was not in any financial difficulty. On June 27, 2012, Kelly published his autobiography, Solar Coaster: The Diary of Me, which focused on his creative and family life rather than his legal troubles, including his $4.8 million debt to the IRS. On September 29, 2012, Kelly was nominated for 2 Soul Train Awards, which made him the most nominated act ever at the awards show. Fast forward to January 3, 2019. When Lifetime aired the documentary Surviving R. Kelly, revisiting old allegations and bringing new ones into the spotlight. The BBC's R. Kelly, Sex, Girls, and Videotapes, released the previous year, also alleged that the singer held women against their will. On February 22, 2019, Kelly was charged with 10 counts of aggravated sexual abuse and arrested later that day. He pleaded not guilty to the charges against 4 women, 3 of whom were minors at the time of the abuse. On March 6, 2019, Kelly sat down for an emotional interview with CBS News' Gayle King.
Quit playing. I didn't do this stuff. This is not me. I'm fighting for my life. Y'all killing me with this. I gave y'all 30 years of my career.
Robert.
30 years of my career. Y'all trying to kill me. You're killing me, man. This is not about music. I'm trying to have a relationship with my kids, and I can't do it. Y'all just don't want to believe the truth. You don't want to believe it.
He denounced the sexual abuse allegations as stupid, not fair, and not true. On March 7, 2019, Kelly was taken back into custody for failing to pay child support. And on July 11, 2019, he was indicted by a federal grand jury in Chicago on charges including child pornography, enticement of a minor, and obstruction of justice. Kelly continued to deny all allegations of sexual misconduct. But on September 27, 2021, a jury found him guilty of sex trafficking. Kelly's misdeeds have spanned decades and caused untold damage to the lives of his victims. Despite multiple investigations and legal battles, the singer continued to deny any wrongdoing. It wasn't until the airing of the documentary Surviving R. Kelly in January 2019 that the public began to fully comprehend the extent of his crime. The documentary exposed Kelly's predatory behavior and shed light on the experiences of his victims. This led to a flood of calls to authorities and a renewed push for accountability.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys. So you see, R. Kelly started with his financial troubles with his real estate and stuff like that. The IRS, he owes money to the IRS. That's why he's so broke. He's paid all these settlements out. He owes money to the IRS. He's had plenty of lawsuits. He's had to pay up. Like, that's why he broke. And then the mute R. Kelly came in to make him, stop his concerts because they're supporting his actions with these girls, because this is the only way he's able to keep these girls in control, is by giving them money. So when they say that R. Kelly was convicted of the Mann Act, right? That's sex trafficking. Okay? The Mann Act is known as sex trafficking. Okay? They no longer call it the Mann Act. They'll say it's the Mann Act, but it's also known as sex trafficking. And no, sex trafficking doesn't mean that you have to gain monetary gain from doing this. So it's not about him being a pimp and them being his hoes. You understand? Because that's what a sex trafficker does. Right? He traffics women. They traffic women, men, children, boys, girls. They human traffic. They use them as slaves for sex so that they can get paid. The pimps get paid. The traffickers get paid. In R. Kelly's case, that's not the case. The case is he was treating them like prostitutes for his own satisfaction. It had nothing to do with monetary gain. It had to do with his own sexual gratification. He abused them and used them for sex. He convinced them to travel to see him. Are you going to see me, baby? I'm going to make sure I pay for your flight. Don't worry about it. You're going to come and see me, right? Okay, yeah, he's paying for my flight. He's doing this, he's doing that. Why not? I will go see him at his concert. And then you meet him at the hotel later on. And you're like, okay, now what? Then all of a sudden he just tells you, strip, come over here. Let me lick your pussy. Let me eat your ass, or let me stick it. He don't ask. He just tells you what to do. You're going to do this, and then you're going to do that, and you're going to do this. He don't say, can I lick you? Can I stick you? Can I do this? Can I do that? He don't ask permission. He just tells you what he's going to do. And that is rape. That is rape. And for those who say, oh, but he didn't rape nobody, They were volunteers. No, he committed statutory rape because they were minors. Even though they consented, in a sense, like they wanted it, right? That's what they say. Volunteers are not victims, right? Volunteers, these volunteers were victims. You want to know why? Because he took it and they were minors. He didn't ask nobody. He didn't say, hey, baby, you're beautiful. Can I give you a kiss? Hey, can I? No, he would just throw his tongue in your throat. No, he would make you strip and then bend you over like, what the fuck is happening here? What's up, Too Strong? And currently he owes what? Nothing. So sad for him and his neighbors. Guess they can't get half paid now. It's ridiculous. So let's get back to this reading, y'all. Yeah, he's a clown. So now he says, really, he was granted a co-headliner tour, meaning 2 stars on one show, but somebody had to go first. LL didn't mind because, like Salt and Pepper, the fans would rather get the party started and then wind things down with the little bump and grind. That's how it was marketed. So he was saying the details of the tour, who was going to go first and da-da-da-da. Then he says that the show went on without any further interruptions, right? Because after the drama and all of that. Then he says, on our way to LA, Rob decided that he wanted more security. This is when they hired the Fruits of Islam. He said Rob decided that he wanted to hire more security. And he was a bit intimidated by Suge Knight's comment and by the fact that he and Barry were not as close as they used to be. Because he felt like Barry would probably set him up. So he's paranoid at this point. He's like, we need more security because I don't trust Suge Knight and what happened after with Aaliyah and Barry and we in his hometown. I don't know. He says, I admire Barry, but then again, who would turn down millions over a sex scandal? This is a sad situation. I'm glad you were real about that and said that. He said, I admire Barry. But then again, who would turn down millions over a sex scandal? Like, fuck it, it happened, but you know what? My money is my money and I need my money and I'm going to keep getting my money. Fuck what happened. Even though it was my niece, I love her, but what? Robert wasn't allowed to contact Aaliyah again after the marriage scandal. I think he went through guilt trips treating me the way he did. If I stayed away from him, he would call and talk about how much he missed the old days. That's my friend, and he was doing her too. This is Tiffany now. We're back to Tiffany. Tiffany says to Demetrius, that's my friend, speaking about Aaliyah. That's my friend, and he was doing her too. I want him to pay, she said, sobbing while the tears ran down her face like drips from a faucet. Then he says, Tia, you can talk to a lawyer, I told her. Tia, please put the gun down, please. I begged her. Now we're talking about Suge Knight again. Security let him in anyway because they knew who he was. Bruce continued to try and convince security that Suge should not be let in and pointed out the fact that he did not have a backstage pass. Suge took offense to Bruce's persistent attempt to keep him from entering backstage. That's what happened. That was the incident. That's why Suge Knight reacted the way he did and what happened. And that Demetrius had to smooth things over so that there wasn't no beef. Now he says, Demetrius says, his after show activities were always the same. Robert kept a piece of pussy in the dressing room or on the bus, in the hotel room, or wherever he would be. He couldn't meet a girl and hang out and we all party and shit. He had to keep everybody waiting for him while he spent hours with each girl that waited around. R. Kelly was a sex demon. R. Kelly had the sex monkey on his back. I don't think so, Cherie. I don't think so because he wouldn't be crying so much about money. I don't know. I don't think so, mommy. I think they took it all. I think he was raw blind and I think he had whatever money he had and that's it. That's what I think. You know, it's just my opinion. I don't know, tú sabes. So now he says, I was following behind him, trying to hurry and catch up. I caught up with LL and told him, my fault, man. They misunderstood how I told them to work the lights. Now, Demetrius is trying to stick up for R. Kelly. So he's putting himself in the middle of it by going to LL Cool J like, my fault, man, my fault. They misunderstood how I told them to work the lights. LL said he knew I didn't do it. He says, I know that punk ass motherfucker you work for told you to do it. And those were the words of LL. LL told Demetrius Smith, I know that punk ass motherfucker you work for told you to do it. He knew it was R. Kelly who sabotaged him with the lights. Now, back to Tia. Tia was so angry, she sought out to hurt R. Kelly because, as she put it, he a low down ass dog and I hate him, among other things. She would call the studio repeatedly, screaming and yelling. R. Kelly got frustrated with her calls and would not take her calls anymore. Then she began to call me, leaving messages to contact her. And this is when Demetrius was like, he wasn't feeling like getting involved and all that. You know what I mean? He knew something wasn't right. Like I told you that he was ignoring her calls and all that. So now, back to LL. He says, I knocked on R. Kelly's dressing room door. Rob, it's me. He opened the door, looking like a scared chicken. Rob thought LL was crazy and wanted me to fix it. He wanted me to talk to him. He says, I know I keep mentioning his after show activities. And to be honest with you, dealing with Rob has been like dealing with a rich, spoiled kid. He is not a bad person. In my opinion, he is just an inconsiderate asshole. Now he goes back to talking to LL Cool J. And he says, L, man, production misunderstood when I told him to lighten the amount of smoke for your show. I was reaching out of my hand in a gesture of forgiveness. Smithy, that's what he called me. You didn't do that shit. You're a solid brother. That's what LL Cool J said to Demetrius. Then he says here, I didn't know whether this was a threat or what. I just overlooked it. He's talking about Suge Knight's comment about, if you come to LA, I'll show you how it's done over here. He didn't know if that was a threat or an invitation. Yeah, no. So now, okay, we're back to Tia. He says, I came out here for you. You know, I always been straight up with you, just like I used to tell you at nights to go home. This is what he's saying to Tiffany. He says to her, I always showed you concern like a little sister, I told her. Tia, don't do this. Come on now. Take that gun down. Come on now, babe. Ain't nobody worth you hurting yourself for, baby girl, I said sympathetically. Now he's still trying to convince her to take the gun away from her. Then he says here, I remember another time he cried, telling me how much he missed her and her mom, meaning Aaliyah, that he missed Aaliyah and her mother. Now, for over a month, Rob stayed in the Chicago Nico Hotel, and he slept in the closet. After that incident happened, he didn't go back to his apartment. He stayed in a hotel for over a month, and he slept in the closet. This is how guilty he was feeling, how hurt, how embarrassed, how paranoid and misguided he is in his life. He's just so evil. He slept in the closet for over a month. He stayed in this hotel and he had his own place. Now he continues to say, he said it was the darkest place he could be. He said he wanted to fall out of the world. What? Then he says, I got nothing. He's talking back to Tia. It's back to Tia now. I got nothing. He'll feel this, I bet you, she said, rocking back and forth as if she was scared and nervous at the same time. I thought it was over. I thought at the very moment she was going to pull the trigger, I felt so sorry for her. And he's talking about Tiffany. Back to LL Cool J. I thought, who was paying attention to the lights anyway? It wasn't until after LL's show that I realized R. Kelly's orders were carried out by someone else. I was watching LL's show and saw him furiously leave the stage and head right over to R. Kelly's dressing room. This is my tour, Johnny. I'm headlining now. Those backlights are set for my show. And that's how that goes. He knows that he don't get everything if he ain't headlining. LL ain't just started doing this. He knows this better than me. I couldn't believe Rob was really believing in what he was saying. Now, that was Rob talking to Demetrius about LL Cool J. Now back to Tiffany. He's at the park with Tiffany, and he tells Tiffany, what about your son, I asked. That's his baby, and he knows it, she said. He don't want nobody else to know it. She continued with tears running down her face. He just lies to me. And now look, Aaliyah can't even talk to me no more. I can't even go on the road with her because of him. Poor Tiffany. Her life was ruined by that. It was ruined from the start with everything he did to that little girl. She was like 14 or 15 when he started messing with her. He was in his 20s. I remember right after we came off the road after the marriage, Robert bought a cell phone for Aaliyah, and I sent it to her. It was their secret phone. Later, her family found it. For a long time, Robert wouldn't change his phone number in hopes that one day Aaliyah would call. He gave her a secret phone so she could communicate with him behind her parents' back. But then the supporters say that him and R. Kelly and Aaliyah never had a relationship. They never had a marriage. They were never married. They were never together. It's ridiculous. Joshua, what are you doing? So now back to LL Cool J. When LL realized R. Kelly was not going to open the door, because he went down to R. Kelly's dressing room, he started banging down the door, telling R. Kelly, open up the door, come the fuck outside. So when LL realized that R. Kelly was not going to open the door, he went back to his own dressing room. And he shouted as he walked away, saying, that's all right. Your punk ass is going to have to come out sooner or later. So I guess maybe when we saw that video with Tamika Harris, I guess that's when they did wind up having a brawl and wound up fighting. But Demetrius Smith doesn't talk about that. You see what I'm saying? He left out some shit. Right. So now here's the part where LL's knocking on the room door. And he's saying, as he's knocking on the room door, bring your punk ass out, he said. Motherfucker, be a man, LL shouted. Tell me to my face I can't have my backlights. What the fuck is wrong with you? So this is what LL Cool J was yelling as he's banging on the door, telling R. Kelly to come out. Hey, Missy, what's up, baby? How are you, my love? So he says, I was a yes man, doing things for him that I knew was not good for him or myself. A yes man, turning my back on things I knew would hurt him in the long run. He knew I didn't approve of the rumors that were going around regarding his relationships with young girls. Now, back to Tia. Now he says, y'all, come on. Tia, what are you doing? What's going on with you? Come on, Tia, I said, pleading with her. It was what I felt I had to do when I saw this girl with that pistol. I wanted her to know that I was compassionate to whatever she was going through. Okay, LL started banging on the dressing room door. Shocked at the sight of her holding a pistol to her head, I was cautious and concerned for my own life as well. She was not in her right state of mind, I thought. Tia, you don't have to do this, I pleaded. My mind was going fast forward. I was searching for the right words to stay calm. I didn't want no freak accident happening. Now, back to R. Kelly's brother Bruce and Suge Knight. R. Kelly's brother Bruce went along with us on this tour. He was hanging out around the VIP entrance to backstage, passing out passes and instructing security on which of his guests to let in. So at the time, Bruce Kelly was on this promotional tour. He was doing security for his brother. Now, he says, my time in the studio was limited because Rob was working in the studio with Tiffany Hawkins and her young friends while I worked in Daryl's office. When I needed a signature from Rob, I would drive to the studio. So Demetrius was the gopher for Daryl McDavid and R. Kelly, basically. You know? He would go to Daryl McDavid, work over in the office, do paperwork, whatever contracts or anything needed to be signed. He would go over to the studio, show it to R. Kelly, tell him, look, you need to sign here, you need to sign there. He probably just said, okay, this is this is that, and this is this. You just got to sign. Don't worry about what it says. Just sign it. So this was the year when the incident happened with the concert for the promotional tour with LL Cool J and the other girls as well. Because remember, Tamika Harris said she went on 2 tours with R. Kelly. So this was the second tour. Because the first tour was the first promotional tour with Salt and Pepper and them, you know. In 1995, Madison Square Garden, Manhattan, New York, LL Cool J opened the show with a boom. He hyped the crowd the fuck up. LL was serious about rising emotions, and he brought it on with authority. LL went out with his wife, beater, baggy jeans, baggy pants, and a baseball cap. So he's describing the show. He said it was good. This happened in 1995. That's why I highlighted it, so you guys could know the year when this was going on. Now, R. Kelly apologized for his crew's mistake and told me to make sure LL got whatever he needed. Look at what a hypocrite R. Kelly is. What a fucking sucker head. He's a sucker butt. R. Kelly's a big pussy. He's scared to fight a man, but he'll beat a bitch's ass. That's a pussy. So R. Kelly apologized for his crew's mistake and told me to make sure LL got whatever he needed. I mean, like, he was running shit. I was laughing at Rob on the inside because he was just punked. He really was punked. Now, R. Kelly was dealing with a sex demon. This demon made his way into our camp and was working hard at being successful with his job to steal, kill, and to destroy the good that could come out of the gift God had given. The devil's job was to push us away and to keep me struggling to survive, while at the same time create havoc in Robert's life. There was no doubt about it. R. Kelly did not want to tangle with LL. Rob knew I was always the one to handle confrontations head on. Since I was not eager to help him, he humbled himself in asking me to take the blame. I did. I walked over to LL's dressing room and told him that it was my fault. As everyone signed a rider along with their contract, LL requested a fog machine, spotlight, a backdrop, and lights, which was a simple request to fill for such a phenomenal entertainer. R. Kelly decided to test his power since he felt he held the headliner spot on the tour to close the concert out. I guess she saw the sincerity in my eyes, going back to Tiffany or with Aaliyah. He says, I guess she saw the sincerity in my face as I pled. I felt as if I wanted to cry too. To be honest, I really felt sorry for her. He's talking about Tiffany. I want him to pay Johnny. I can't go on tour with Aaliyah now. Her family doesn't want anybody that socializes with him to talk to her. Now he says, after learning that Robert was not comfortable with me driving Daryl's car, remember that he said he didn't want him driving Daryl's car. So now Daryl came through for me like a true friend and helped me to get a 1992 black Honda Accord. Daryl, he was sympathetic to my needs and he wanted me to be there. He knew I was a hardworking, sincere, dedicated worker. So Daryl took R. Kelly's money and decided to buy Demetrius Smith a car. He said, don't worry, man, I got you. I'll buy you a car. Don't worry about it. Don't worry. R. Kelly doesn't even have to know. Don't worry about it. Yeah, it was him who did the singing, him who did the writing, and he created the choreography for the shows. But it was me who opened the doors for him to get in the game. It was me who opened the door to make sure people would listen to him. So now Demetrius is ranting about taking credit for helping R. Kelly because R. Kelly was being a selfish bastard. So now, back to Tiffany. I did, and she told me she had a pistol and was going to kill herself. She said she wanted to make Robert hurt for the way he lied to her. She said she didn't feel like she had a future anymore. She said a career as a singer was all she wanted. And she was in so much pain. She's like, yo, this guy was supposed to be helping me with my career and he promised me things. And how could he do this to me? He abused me. He abused my girlfriends. And then he started having sex with Aaliyah. And then he married her. And he was just evil, torturous, and evil. Now he says, we were on the same page when it came to entertaining the young ladies. We just couldn't do it. They just weren't on our level of maturity, and we just simply had nothing in common. They were silly, young, and immature. I was simply not into hanging around kids. She was also one of the young ladies that hung out at Robert's apartment and in the studies with her girlfriends. I guess he meant to say in the studio. Hung out at Robert's apartment. She was also one of the young ladies that hung out at Robert's apartment and in the studio with her girlfriends. Tia was a very talented young lady, I might add. I was working with Tia to help her get her career started and had her sign a contract with me as her manager. So he's talking about Tiffany Hawkins, that he had a contract with her to work as a manager. Now, it was time to go, Rob. Come on, man. Okay, I read that. We already read that. Okay, I read that. Okay, I read that. Why is it on repeat? Okay. Now he says to Tiffany Hawkins, Tia, he will hurt. He will hurt, babe. And you'll be able to move on with your life if you talk with a lawyer. Please, Tia, I pled with her to put the pistol down from her head. She cried and looked at me. I saw in her eyes that she wanted to give in. I began to slowly walk toward her with my arms shielded out. When he did that, he messed it up for all of us. I can't work with Aaliyah no more either. I was about to start naming off things that we were now affected because we could no longer associate with Aaliyah when Tia interrupted. He doesn't care about nobody, she said, with an expression that showed she was mad as hell. Come here, Tia. Put the gun down, I said, reaching out to her. I stopped thinking about myself. I was concerned about her. She was in pain and felt alone. Tia, I'll help you. Just give me the gun, I said. You're just saying that, she said. No, Tia, I'm not. It's not right how he's treated you and that he messed with Aaliyah. No, I didn't, Tia, but we gotta deal with him. I told her, as I held the phone down, lowering my voice and showing her that I didn't want Robert to hear what I was saying to her. Robert's voice came onto the phone line. Hello? I spoke into the phone. I pulled out my cell phone and called Robert. You tricked me, she said, and snatched away from me. I held on to her with my free hand. This is what happened before the conversation that I just read. Like I told you, remember, these things are in an order because it discombobulated. Johnny, so what's happening with her? He asked. This is R. Kelly asking Demetrius what happened with Tia. I was speaking real low as I told Robert she had a gun. Man, Tia's hurting, I said. She was still trying to pull away from me, but listened intently as I spoke to Robert. You need to talk to her, Rob. She really feels that you hurt and lied to her, I said. Where you at? He asked. Man, I just talked her out of taking a gun down from her head, I whispered in the phone. Because he acted like he didn't hear me the first time I had told him, he didn't seem concerned at all about that. This angered me. I didn't know if he felt the vibe or what. All of a sudden, he responded. It was no doubt that she was weak for him. Tia, talk to Robert. She shook her head no. It's going to be all right, Tia. Talk to him. I insisted, nodding my head to her to take the phone. What? She's got a gun? Let me talk to her, he said in a low tone. I explained to Robert Tia's state of mind and asked him to be kind to her. At first, she refused to take the phone, but it didn't take too much convincing. She wanted to talk to him. She then took it, and without hearing anything, she began to yell into the phone. You just keep lying to me. All you do is hurt people, she screamed into the phone. On the way back to see Robert, Tia told me that it didn't matter that I had her gun. She said the next time she won't call. She said she felt that I was only tricking and lying to her about helping her, just like Robert. I sat back on my car as Robert talked to her. About 5 minutes, she handed the phone back to me. Yeah, Johnny, bring her down here. I'll deal with her when y'all get here, he said, and hung up without giving me a chance to say anything. Tia then tried to talk me out of taking her to the studio. She no longer wanted to see Robert. She wanted to go home. But I continued telling her that she needs to face him so that she could clear her head and make up her mind about pursuing an attorney. Now, why would her going to see him would resolve anything of her seeing a fucking attorney? Are you fucking kidding me? You should have took her ass the fuck home, made sure she got the help that she needed, spoke to her mother, took her to the fucking police station, and made the fucking report with that little girl. Instead, you took her to R. Kelly. You fucking idiot. Once at the studio, I told Robert what had went down regarding the gun. He then took Tia into another part of the studio. I left, taking the .32 pistol with me. Later that night, Rob called me. I didn't hear from Tia for a couple of weeks. Then I received a call from her attorney, who wanted to meet with me to discuss Tia's allegations concerning Robert having sex with her as a minor. Hold on, guys. Hold on a second, Mama. All right, guys. Sorry about that. Sorry, I had to have you guys on pause for a minute. All right, let's go back. So now he says that he didn't hear from Tia for a couple of weeks, and that then he received a call from her attorney who wanted to meet with him to discuss the allegations concerning Robert having sex with her as a minor. Now, he was somewhat angry with me for telling Tia to get an attorney. I let him know I felt I had to in order to convince her to give me the gun. He didn't believe she was really going to shoot herself, but I believed different and didn't want to take a chance on that happening. So I went to meet with him to find out what I could so that I could warn Robert and he could prepare himself. I didn't think that the girl was really going to follow up on my suggestion to obtain legal counsel, but she did it. Can you believe that? He's like, I didn't think she was really going to go and get counsel, but she did. What the fuck? Punch this dude in his face one time. Demetrius, you deserve a black eye for that. You're like, seriously. You deserve a black eye for that. Really, seriously. That was dumb. Now, it later turned out to be a real case against R. Kelly. Tia told the attorney of all the times she and her young friends had spent with R. Kelly at his Burnham Plaza apartment. She told of all the sexual things he had done with her and her friends at the apartment and at the studio. My. But R. Kelly didn't mess with minors. Okay. She even mentioned Aaliyah's name at some of the sleepovers. Okay. She even mentioned Aaliyah's name at some of the sleepovers. I'm going to repeat that. Okay? She even mentioned Aaliyah's name at some of the sleepovers. So, Aaliyah would sleep over with the other girls in the same apartment with R. Kelly. What the fuck you think happened with Aaliyah? Do you think he kept Aaliyah in a separate room by herself while he went and had group sex with the other girls? Or do you think he mingled with Aaliyah and the other girls? But these supporters out here don't believe that. They don't see none of this. They don't think that this shit is true or real. It's crazy. You got more than one person out here telling you what this man is doing. Now he says, several lawsuits were filed against R. Kelly by Tia and her friends. Tia offered me 10% of whatever she would get if I would sign an affidavit. And he did. He signed the affidavit just because of the fact that he was going to get some fucking money. Instead of telling Tiffany, no, you know what, baby? I'm here for you. I'm truly here for you. Fuck R. Kelly. He's a fucking predator and he needs to get locked the fuck up. I don't agree with him messing with little girls. I don't want your money. Do what you have to do, baby. I'm here for you. But you signed it because you were getting fucking money. You greedy, selfish motherfucker, you. Fuck you, Demetrius. Levi! Don't worry, Levi. You see me over here? I'm giving fucking Demetrius Smith black eye. Because he's a fucking prick. Because your cousin's a prick. Okay? Demetrius is a prick and your cousin is a prick. All right? Just letting you know. I love you anyway. Like I said, everybody that was in fucking R. Kelly's orbit was out for gaining something for themselves while they protect R. Kelly. As long as they keep getting what they want from R. Kelly, they will keep protecting R. Kelly. This was a pattern of behavior for many, many years that he's done drawn up and figured out how he can manipulate people. With money, he got power. And with power, he got respect. And at the end of the day, he had a bunch of fucking peasants around him kissing his fucking ass and his feet. And they let him treat them like assholes. They all let R. Kelly treat them like shit. Every last one of them. Yeah, you better hit that like button. You better hit that like button, Demetrius. And Levi. Last time I had Demetrius in my bushes one time, he came out and he put some eyeballs in the chat. Yeah, you hear me loud and clear. I'm yelling at you, dude. Mm-hmm. That shit bothered the fuck out of me. He says, Tia offered me 10% of whatever she would get if I would sign an affidavit, but I declined. I am still trying to figure out myself why. So he says he declined. But that's bullshit. Because he did sign the affidavit, because I have a copy of that fucking affidavit where it states that he was willing to be a participant, to stand up and be a witness for these girls, along with Aaliyah and Javante and Miss Green and Tia and another young lady. What's up, Nexie? What's up, my love? And what's up, Levi, by the way? Then he says, after several attempts of trying to convince me to sign an affidavit, Tia and her attorney stopped calling me. Later, I learned that R. Kelly settled with them, as well as Aaliyah and her family. He continued on his shows, running across the stage, holding his private parts, and grinding fans, instead of just singing and touching people with his voices. Instead of R. Kelly touching people with his voices, he's grinding his private parts, touching his private parts, grinding on fans, being all sexually nasty. That's what he was doing. Then he talks about being overseas was again an exciting adventure for me. Everything went well. No one had to stress over Robert holding the bus up after a show here overseas. In Europe, Robert performed and we were out of there. That was it. There was no hanging out, doing meet and greets, none of that when he was abroad, because they didn't like that. It was, everything was on a schedule. You got to run by schedule. There ain't none of this. You go in and you go out. He's talking about the Netherlands, at least, when he was abroad there. After the shows, the bus came and we had to board them or be left behind. They had different laws concerning the drivers. They could only drive for a certain amount of hours. And if we weren't at our destination by the time their driving time was up, the drivers had the right to park the bus and go rest for 8 hours. So when their time was up, their time was up. They don't give a fuck about you. They're going to sit and they're going to take their break. Okay, so now we were set and ready for the Mr. Big Tour. And Lisa Ray went along with them on this big tour, on the Mr. Big Tour. This is the tour I think she made her connection that put her in the position where she is now. Now, with all the negative publicity from Tia, her friends, and Aaliyah, that he would have learned something or would have grown up at least a little, he didn't. That sex demon had a hold on him. It had a hold on R. Kelly, and he was blind to the damage he was causing to his career and in the lives of the people that loved him. He knew I would object to anything I thought was hindering his career. So instead of conversing with me, he tried to hide everything from me. He even had the security I hired for him keep me from entering his dressing room. So little by little, he started pushing Demetrius away because Demetrius wasn't being a get along anymore. He was tired of being a yes man. So he was kind of like, shoving him away. Like, listen, I don't need that nigga over here if he gonna be against me. It's either you're with me or you're against me. Hold on, Demetrius. Hold on in my Levi boys. In my Levi boys. Hold on, Demetrius. Mr. Kelly wants me to check with him before I allow anyone to go in to see him. To say I was frustrated would be an understatement. Now, security was telling him, hold on, Demetrius, hold on. Kelly wants me to make sure I check with him first before you come in anywhere. When he came back to the door, he told me Mr. Kelly said he would see you later. What, man? I need to see Rob now. Excuse me, I told him. When I attempted to get past him to enter Robert's dressing room, he put his hands on me to stop. So the bodyguard was like, no, you're not going in. Robert, man, he don't stop me. I'm your main guy. I don't know what's going on in there. Pointing to his dressing room. Shit, you could be in trouble or something. He don't keep me out without you telling me. Then he says, as we were walking, Rob paid 2 of our crew members $100 each to walk a full block, holding hands and switching down the street as if they were gay just for laughs. How controlling was that? So as he and Killer worked together, Killer meaning his brother, Carrie Kelly, Killer worked together. Killer had to suck it up and do things his big brother's way. So now he's going to get into speaking about his brother, Carrie Kelly. Rob actually gave 2 of the dudes that were with him $100 each to walk a full block holding hands and swishing and pretending like they were gay. This gay shit started way back when. When we were in St. Louis, Missouri, R. Kelly left his Rolex watch in the dressing room while he went to do his show, and it came up missing. Now, this must be the Rolex watch that Lisa Van Allen took. No, I believe she had an abortion, mommy. I'm not sure if she had the child or if she had an abortion, but I believe she had an abortion. But she had a child from someone else before R. Kelly. That's what she states. We don't know what the truth is, but that's what she states. And I'm sticking to her story. Now, the argument got heated because he told me that he was docking my pay $150. I was heated. And on top of that, my computer was missing. Someone stole it too. So someone took his computer and someone took his Rolex. And he was docking pay from Demetrius because Demetrius is responsible for his shit. So he's docking Demetrius Smith because Demetrius Smith wasn't watching his stuff. So the fact that R. Kelly's camp had a reputation of being unprofessional, and along with the allegations of R. Kelly having a thing for young girls, it all reflected on me. So my chances of working in the music industry were slim. I'd be flat broke and homeless waiting for something to open up for me, I thought. He said, man, I get no cooperation out of Robert. How you do it? I don't know. But I am glad you're here, he said. Kirk told me he never would have thought Robert was so out of order, unprofessional, and unorganized. Now, Kirk was in place of Demetrius. Once Demetrius stopped working, he became the manager, the tour manager, Kirk. So this is what he's talking about here. Now, I met with Kirk Townsend, who was hired to take my place. He was so glad to see me when I walked up on him. Demetrius, man, he said, shaking his head left to right. I envy you, he said. I wouldn't want your job for nothing. You can have it back. It is too buck wild out here for me. So remember in that interview, he was saying that, the tours have become buck wild. Things were just buck wild. Immediately, I took charge, put things together. His crew was running around like little mice. They were running around back and forth from the audience to ours dressing room, transporting young girls in and out of his dressing room. Now, I'm going to leave it here, guys, because it's mommy duty time. I need to go out and get some dinner and do what I need to do for the family. That's all right, Sharice. Rewind, sis. Rewind. We got a lot of juicy shit in here, girl. Mm-hmm. So, guys, we will leave it here on 401. Okay? Before we leave, I did want to look at the song Trading My Life, right? Because oh, I did that wrong. Shoot. Hold up. I did that wrong. Okay, wait. Share screen. Okay. Okay, now I wanted to share this because this is R. Kelly's song, Trading My Life. And remember, Demetrius said that this song was made for Aaliyah. So let's see if we have any words on the screen here. Is this the words? Okay, I don't see no lyrics on the screen. Why is it said with lyrics? Okay, no. All right. This has no lyrics. They lied. They lied. Hold on. Let's see if this one has it. Let's see if this has the words. No, this one don't have the words either. Maybe we can when I get a chance, I'll see if maybe I can find it online. We'll do it that way. And I'll see if I could bring up the actual lyrics to his song. All right. That's what we'll do for the next time. Okay, guys. So thank you guys for rocking out with me, listening to the story of the man behind the man. You guys already know, if you want to donate to the channel, you want to donate to your girl, you can cash at me at $ Diva Divine Light. You can also send me a PayPal at Diva Divine Light as well. Guys, if you guys have any tips or anything you want to share with me, you can call me at 347-336-9724. You can text me, send me information, send me some articles or whatever. You can also email me as well. All right, guys. And thank you for stopping by, my loves. Y'all are great all the time. I appreciate all your support every single time. So, yeah. Don't forget, okay, before you leave me, hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed, okay? Make sure you like this video before you leave, okay? And hit the notification bell if you are going to subscribe, and put it on all right, y'all? And your girl, Diva Divine Light, is out. Make sure that you leave your comments in the comment section in the video, all right? I want to hear what you guys think about this. And Demetria Smith and your girl, have a wonderful, wonderful Friday. And your girl, Diva Divine Light, is out. Peace.
You are watching Diva Divine Light.
You can fuck with me if these red bottoms, these bloody shoes. Hit the scoop, I can get them both. I don't want tools, and I'm quick. Cut every nigga off, so don't get comfortable. Look, I don't dance now, I make money move. Now I gotta dance, I make money move. If I see you now, that means I don't fuck with you. I'm a boss, you a worker, bitch. I make bloody move. Now she say, gon' do what a hoop. Let's find out if you Cardi B. You know where I'm at, you know where I be. Just a party, I'm there, I can play. I be in and out the game so much, I know they tired of me. Honest.